Hi and welcome to City Happenings. I'm Mayor David Black. Our first Street Plaza project is underway downtown. We'll tell you more. This summer's drought has hit everyone hard. We'll hear from our Parks Director about what it has meant for our parks. And the fire department held its annual fire camp. You'll get to see what went on. These stories are next in City Happenings for the week of August 23rd.
Thanks, Mayor Black. Things are busy at the southwest corner of 1st Street and South 84th.
Rotate your prism down a little bit.
We're going to actually remove the parking lot paving and supplement that parking with on-street parking similar to what we have with the rest of downtown. We actually have head-in parking right on the back side of the curb. So we're actually going to supplement the loss of the parking street side with that parking lot, and we're going to build a fountain with a nice waterfall and water feature along with some restrooms that will be open to the public. Just as the rest of our park facility restrooms are open. And then there's going to be an interactive water feature similar to the Bob Carey Bridge, where you have little spray heads that create the sound of water and the essence of water down through there. So there'll be a little amphitheater stage along with the restroom facility with a little canopy, so there'll be venues and events that will be able to be held down there along with a very integral landscaping plan to really kind of beautify the area and make it look more like a park setting.
If people have time to understand everything that goes into it, solving a lot of problems and it's doing a lot of things, you get to the end of a project and people only see the end result. The end result is a plaza, a parking lot being transformed into a plaza, and it costs to do that. But and that's funded through the general fund. But the project itself might go a little bit beyond budget, but the project itself has evolved literally over a 2-year period. No secret, Papillion and I specifically have had a lot of focus on downtown. Downtown is absolutely critical for a lot of reasons, whether you're talking community, economic development, health of the city, inner core dying and going away. A lot of reasons downtown is important, and we've talked about those over the last 3 years, which has put the emphasis back on the importance of downtown while we continue to grow. So partially it's addressing some of that. But what's the cost of that? How do you do that? And one of the things that our downtown businesses have continually said, and residents as well who go downtown, is there's no parking. There's a perception that there's no parking. But most of the time, there's an empty parking lot right on the corner. So there's no parking, but I got 35 parking stalls that are empty. How do you reconcile that? And so part of the idea was, let's solve a parking problem. In addition to investing in downtown, let's solve a parking problem. And so 1st Street used to have diagonal parking. Well, let's put diagonal parking back on, adding to parking, solving a parking problem. There's a cost to that. So part of the budget question is what's the cost of adding parking? So that's part of the budget, and that's part of what this project calls and funds for. Well, then once you put parking on 1st Street, what do you do with the parking lot that's never used? Pull up the concrete and turn it into something else. There's a cost to that little bit of a transformation. And the easiest thing would be just transform it back into grass. Well, there's a cost for pulling the concrete out and putting the grass in, so that's another layer of the budget question. Some people would say the park, city park, and downtown go together. But that bridge is a major barrier between those. And there's a lot of people that will be downtown that will not cross the bridge to go into the park. So as you're putting the grass in, put in a little amenity to make it look like a corner of the park. That makes sense. There's a cost to that. One of the other complaints that we get over the years from downtown businesses is there's no public restrooms downtown. And people go into the stores to use the bathroom, but they're not using the store. Well, there's a restroom in City Park. Again, people don't go across the bridge to go to the restroom. The library has a public restroom facility. City Hall has a public restroom facility. People don't venture into the physical buildings for that. Well, if we're adding to that little corner and making an extension of City Park, what about putting a little restroom facility there? A little bit of cost there, but it solves a real problem, meets the need of the community.
Essentially, it's going to take in upwards of 10 to 11 months to complete the project in whole, but we're trying to phase it to provide the least amount of impact to the businesses downtown and still provide supplemental parking where we need to. So that kind of in a nutshell is how it's going to transform, if you will.
The summer's drought has hit the area hard. City parks have had to handle the hot, dry weather.
We've been inundated with questions about what are we doing for the city trees, what are we doing for the city landscapes all summer. This is one of the hottest and driest summers that I've ever been around, being in the horticulture business over 23, 24 years. What we have been doing, and you will probably notice, we've had city crews out with our sewer jet watering our newly planted, and what I mean by newly planted trees are trees that were planted last fall and this spring, newly planted trees around the city. We've gone in at least once a week during this drought and deep watered all those trees, and then we've gone back to water new landscapes, trees that are under stress that we've seen that are under a lot more undue stress than some others. We've been watering those once a week as well. What I've been telling homeowners is to just try to water. If you have newly planted trees or shrubs, try to get them deep watered once a week. You should be good. You will probably notice that where there is some heat and wind stress on the leaves, doesn't necessarily mean the plant is dead. It means it is going through stress. The long-term vision is that we really don't know what the long-term vision is right now. I think from talking to several experts around the state, it's kind of a wait-and-see thing next spring to see how this comes through, how the trees and the shrubs come through this severe drought. We know that most of our turf grass will come back. Everything that you see that is brown now in our parks is dormant. The things that are growing real well right now are the weeds. Weeds can suffer through a drought, and they're the ones that are really growing well. But we've actually saved a lot of money on fuel. We've utilized our talent that we have in our mowing crew for our parks department. We've kept them out of the parks at this time and put them on tree trimming duties, tree mulching duties. We're getting a lot of other things done in our park system besides wasting time and wasting money going over and mowing grass that's dormant. We don't need to be doing that. So we've been getting a lot of other things done around the city while the parks, yes, are brown and they are dormant. So we've been able to utilize our staff in other areas that are still beneficial to the Parks Department.
The fire department's annual fire camp brings fun and a safety message to local youngsters.
We're really fortunate to be able to have a fire camp here in the City of Papillion. We're supported at every level of our city. One of the biggest aspects to the City of Papillion is their push for the quality of life here, and really this is what the fire department is trying to do, and educating our kids and enjoying the children of the City of Papillion is proving to the rest of the city that we're also about improving quality of life by teaching them about fire safety and also just giving them a really good time. We have a lot of fun here. Play a lot of water games, and kids always have a great time, and so do the counselors. We want our kids to be educated, to be smart kids. If they ever find themselves in an emergency situation, here at the fire department, we're just as much fire as we are EMS. So we teach our kids how to handle any regular emergency situation, from if there's a fire in your house, or if a caregiver. You can't wake them up, how to dial 911, and we teach stop, drop, and roll. We have 911 communications come in, and the SRP dispatch, and teach them how to appropriately dial 911 in those cases. We also have LifeNet come in, and so we get to show off that part of our job. When someone's critically sick or injured, those resources that are available to us, we show them too. And kids really get put at ease. We also reinforce this when we go back into the schools during Fire Safety Week and teach our kids again about fire safety and smoke detectors and how to get out of your house and make sure that you have a meeting place. So we really try to cover a lot of aspects of how to teach our kids how to handle emergency situations, and they're sharp kids. They get it pretty quick and have a great time.
With school back in session for this year, we urge everyone to be alert for children walking through neighborhoods and on city streets in the mornings and afternoons as they make their way to and from school. Help keep our streets safe. And there are lots of ways to stay up to date with what's happening in Papillion. You can find us on Facebook, follow the City of Papillion on Twitter, or watch the YouTube channel. And of course, information about all of our departments and programs is available on our website. For more about Papillion, go to www.papillion.org. Or just call the Mayor's Hotline at 402-827-1111. Thanks for watching.